Let's talk some toys in here.
Hey, what's up everyone? Today is the Man-Child. Okay, so today I have a review. This is another video or part 3 of opening up my MOTU Classics figures. So yeah, if you're not familiar, I'm making a series of basically open up my classics. Started with part 1 and 2 obviously, now we're on 3. So part 1 I already had a bunch opened up, and it's just time, explain why I'm doing this. There are about 17 now I have that I'm going to keep in card for just personal, value reasons. But I just don't have the space anymore, and it's time to enjoy them. And I'm going to keep the card backs and, of course, the figures. So here we go. Today we have Buzz-Off and Dragstor. 2 really cool-looking characters or figures going back to the vintage days. Now, we still haven't got a Dragstor in the Origins. We did get Buzz-Off in the Origins and Masterverse, which came out really cool. And I'll compare them later on against this Classics Buzz-Off. But, yeah, I got to say, I always loved the Classics line. I love the aesthetics. One of my favorites, and yeah, I'm enjoying these figures more that I take them out of card instead of having them sit in card. Okay, so first up is Buzz-Off. Yeah, I mean, again, Classics did an excellent job of Buzz-Off. Buzz-Off is another one of those figures that definitely makes my top 10 for just the original vintage MOTU figures or characters, and along with figures like Clawful and Whiplash, I'd say Webster, Mech and Ek, and things like that. But he came out awesome. Now, it looks like with this Classics figure, not only does he have that typical eye spying helmet, he has his vintage-style axe, I want to say, you can see in the bottom, but he also comes with the 2000X inspired axe as well that the 2000X figure came with. And here's a quick look at Buzz-Off's bio. You want to pause and read that? Alright, and there he is. We have Classics Buzz-Off out of package, and he looks awesome. Yeah, what a great feeling taking him out. Much better in person. Yeah, just another cool-looking sectoid, human-like character. Goes back to Eternia, that's what I always liked about him. Now, he comes with, a bunch of accessories. We'll go over that in a little bit. Let's concentrate on the figure. So let's bring him in a closer look. Yeah, I love that head. Pretty cool. Really good head sculpt for Buzz-Off. Always unique. Got the big old bug eyes. Now, these, they're not compound like this visor hood, which we'll get into soon. That has a compound vision, but yeah, pretty cool eyes. Always love the big, just the shades of green in them. You have like the, textured main hood that goes over the face. It's like a giant bee. This could be, I don't think it's supposed to be furry. No, it's just textured, like scaling or something. You have a couple antennas up at the top. They're part of the sculpt. Then moving down to the main face, right? A couple fangs, which is unique for Buzz-Off. As far as the articulation with this head, right? Left, right, go down and up. So it's interesting to see the articulation and flaws with these figures after all these years, as opposed to something new out of package like Masterverse or something. Yeah, so of course, moving down to the buck and chest, he's using the Whiplash style body. Same thing they did in the Origins or Vintage. So that's always neat. I always like that. Again, you have a lot of scaling, layers of scaling that matches this hood for Buzz-Off. But then these hard outer bands, some type of armor. And it's so profound with Buzz-Off, just the colors. You have the dark browns, the lighter tones on the arms and legs, of course the big green eyes, but the yellow colors really stand out on him. Just like a bee, you see some of these bees in a garden, they're pretty front and back. Now, let's see. So as far as the articulation with this buck, he does have the ab crunch. Okay, so see, he has an ab. Go up and down, the waist can spin, but the ab can't. Moving to the arms here, moving over the arms. So yeah, typical Classics aesthetics, He-Man type style muscles. Again, that's what I love most with the Classics. But they do have the single joints with the pin showing. And so the arms too, let's see. So we know the buck is like a Whiplash style buck. And then the arms are aside the biceps or the He-Man Skeletor style. The shoulders are the same ones they use for Clawful, it looks like, as well as the claw. Now, it'll be interesting because I got Clawful right here. I knew to bring him in. I just reviewed him in part 2. Another excellent figure out of package. And you can see, yes, it's the same type of like scaling. Side Clawful's has red. Red is there's blemishing with the red mixing into the arms, which that was another neat idea for the Classics Clawful. And it's the same exact small claw side, right? Clawful's red, Buzz-Off's is brown, Clawful has a larger claw. And the other top of the arm's all the same. All right, so let me get Clawful out of the way. I just want to show that, compare it. Oh, and the other thing, too, I have them out. Yeah, the boots as well, which we'll get to them soon. Are they the same? Yeah, same exact boots with the scaling, but obviously the colors are different. All right. Where we at here? So as far as the arm articulation, up, down, go forward, back, biceps, all right, bicep swivel, bend all the way up to the face with the claw. And that's good articulation for the classics in a day with the single joint, at least with this figure. And then the claws, they're the same on both the left and right side, and they only spin. And they're like sculpted in an open position. They don't have articulation like the Masterverse one does, which I'll bring compare soon. Which is good enough for the classics, because the vintage figure, I think they were in the upright, I want to say the upright position or like that. And when you put the weapon, it looked weird. And the Origins one too has articulation now that the vintage didn't. So yeah, I would expect a little more with the classics. I thought maybe can go up and down, or these can open and close, but they spin all around. Again, it's doing what it's good enough. The other arms are all the same. Let's see with the articulation. Let's test it out because it's fun to see what they're doing. Alright, so we talked about the claws, and alright, the forearms does have like a bone structure going on the main arm. Again, I think it's the same one as Clawful. Bring them in while I have them. Yep. And oh, the legs as well has those bone ridges, and Whiplash shared as well, from what I remember. So yeah, I'm just trying to make comparisons with Clawful. I have them. Okay, I get them out of the way. Actually, you know what? The texturing too. Interesting. On Clawful's body, the upper body and the head, they did the same thing with Buzz-Off. Very similar. Then let's see. So we did the claws, the arms, head, right. Let's see. Moving down, we were talking about expand the waist, belt, loincloth. You know, the typical classic style. Side painted gold, loincloth dark brown. And now we know with the legs, those type of bone ridges that Clawful and Whiplash share. And again, be fair, going back to the vintage, that's what the classics was all about, or what the Origins did later. So as far as the leg articulation with this figure, let's see, after all these years, all right, go out with a split, really tight on this figure. You can kick forward, go back a little bit, bend at the knee, right? Let's do the other leg too while I got this figure out. Okay, pretty good. This knee's a little loose, but at the knee, you can see the pins with these figures if you're not familiar. Then moving down, once again, we know he has the Clawful style boots. And again, I think Whiplash uses these as well. When I get to Whiplash, we'll reconfirm that. And these boots should be able to spin. The texturing matches. Yeah, again, going back to something like the armor with Clawful has, I mentioned a couple times already. And then the 4 toes on the foot, right? And then as far as articulation, we go up, down, rock side to side, and the other side is very similar. You kind of rock. I don't know. These don't have rocker joints, and I think it's just the plastic you're flexing. They didn't technically, maybe I'm wrong. No, they do. Okay, yeah, it does have some type of joint that allows it to rock back and forth and go up and down. Okay, hard to see in there. All right. What I like with this Buzz-Off, or these boots, the articulation's not bad. It's pretty tight. Clawful was really bad, and I fixed it with some clear gel. Fixed it right up. If anybody's seen that review. All right, so let's flip them around. Did all that. Look at those wings. All right, that's one of the most infamous parts of Buzz-Off, going back to the vintage Origins, is the wings. They did a beautiful job with these. Yeah, like biomechanical, I want to say. Look at all the, not only are they translucent, but the circuitry going through them. That's incredible. It's almost like it has little clear pistons and wires and just a lot of weird stuff going on. As far as the articulation with the wing, I mean, it could spin all around. Has a hinge joint, so it can go up over the head like this, in, out, all kinds of stuff. The other wings are all the same. Right, you could turn it inside out like that. I think it's supposed to be like this, but you know, you could cross them up and down, or even fold them back and fold them up when he's yeah, not flying. That's pretty. I love that. Wow. And there's a look at him. So there's a look with the front of the wings open. We'll do that. Right. Look at the back with the wings open, and then face him again from the front ways. Excuse me. All right, and that's what he would look like with the wings closed in, something like that. I'm going to bring one in for a closer look with the detail real quick, if I can focus in on it, just so you can see the circuitry and the patterns of everything. Yeah, awesome. And yeah, I think the other side's all the same aside. I guess it's a left and a right now. I don't know if these pop out. Yeah, they don't feel like it. Like, I think the Masterverse ones do, but I'm going to leave it. Seems like there's a way to take him out. Anyway, so yeah, that armor backpack, right? We talked about the wings. And then if you go down to the lower part of this, yeah, he has like these little insect legs, which is interesting. It'd be cool if they were a little larger, like Webster, because I think the Classics Webster has these larger ones, which I can't wait to get the review on him. But these also articulate, right? They go like this, in and out, spin all around, right? Has another one on the other side, right? This one, let me see. Okay, yep, spins all around, goes down. I don't know what the point of them is. You know, again, can't really use them for a weapon because they're not long enough, but it's interesting. Maybe to hold honey or something, or weapons when he's flying, or just grasp something they're long enough to hold something behind him. I guess that's the point of it. Cool design, though, for, yeah, Classics Buzz-Off. Excellent. Wow, really impressive figure. Just look from the side, both sides. Okay, so moving on to Buzz-Off's weapons and accessories. So once again, he comes with this, the infamous spy compound goggle visor cap, I'm going to call it. I think that's how it gives him, yeah, spy vision. And again, it's compound. It's like an insect eye, you know, insect eyes we normally have. This too has antennas sticking up over the top, which is pretty neat. They're soft. All right, and there's the inside. Now here's his vintage style axe, just like the regular figure come with, a little better detail. And then you get the staff axe that, again, I think this is meant for the 2000X version of Buzz-Off. If you go back to the cartoon, and the 2000X figure has something like this, because I actually had that figure when I had that collection. Yeah, really cool details. Then lastly, for a little bonus, check this out. And we'll try this on. I also had the 2000X inspired Buzz-Off head. This came out of the Classics head pack that I had. It had 5 heads in it. So look at that in detail. Now that has the green eyes, but you can see all the little slices in them. You know, that again, that's part of the compound vision. Little squares, honeycombs, large antennas. Now they don't articulate, but just different. He also has the fangs, very narrow, different type of helmet. Right, and there's the back. So once again, taking a look at Buzz-Off, let's put his spy cap visor on the head, see how it fits. There you go. Goes over the main eyes. And if you remember the vintage one having this, which a lot of us had this figure, if you collect the MOTU, this piece would always fall off and you lose it so easy. I remember my Buzz-Off used to drive me nuts. But that one fits pretty good for the Classics, and it goes all the way down. I think the vintage one, like, only sat so low and you see the main eyes. This one doesn't seem to do that. You could if you wanted to, but yeah, that's much better. Look how easy, how well that fits. It goes over the the main green eyes. There's a front and back. And now one of his claws on this side. Let's push the axe in hand. Oh, snaps right in. And again, the way, because of the position of the claw, even though you can only articulate this way, it does look normal for, you know, as far as holding a weapon. And then you can spin it out that way. That's even better. Like you're getting ready to strike. And now, here's a quick look at Buzz-Off with his spy glass goggles on, axe in hand, get ready to strike, wings spread out. Looking pretty cool for a Classics figure and just how everything is set up. And once again, here's a quick look at Buzz-Off with his 2000X setup. So yeah, put the head on, right? We have this 2000X inspired axe staff in hand or claws. Let's a quick look at that setup. Let's put the wings out. Yeah, this head was really difficult to put on. I had to use a blow dryer to heat it up for a while. That's typical of a lot of the alternative heads of some of these figures, but it worked. So yeah, as far as articulation with this, let's see, we go left, right, look all the way down, all the way up, pretty cool. Yeah, it doesn't look bad, a little small, but that's kind of how the 2000X theme was, oversized bodies and small heads, kind of like an American anime style of art or concept. That's what the 2000X, series or characters always reminded me of. But it doesn't look bad. Fix these out. Got the wings. So that's pretty cool. And then as far as the articulation, again, with the axe in hand and these classic aesthetics. So you have to reposition it because, again, the claws can only spin one way. It'd be neat if they had more articulation like the other ones do. But for what it does, that's about all you can do. Alright, so once again, I just put the regular vintage head on Buzz-Off and the axe in hand. I took the 2000X stuff off. And now here's a quick comparison between our Classics Buzz-Off and the Origins, we'll call it the remaster Buzz-Off from the vintage one, which they did a good job with. So, you know, they have a very identical style axe. Yeah, you can see, right, this visor for the Origins Buzz-Off stands up over the main eyes. And this one fit better because this Buzz-Off with the head, with the Origins, if you're not familiar, has antennas that stick up. I like that better. And they go right through the holes to keep this on for this figure, where the vintage one just sat there. Now the Classics does the same thing, but it locks a lot better. He has a little set of fangs, or you can see the differences in the body. Check out the wings. So this one too, the Origins did a good job on the wings for what it's doing. I mean, Classics is just next level, but you know, it's fun. A lot of circuitry going on, simple. And yeah, he doesn't have the little insect feelers or legs back here where the Classics one did. I didn't expect that with the Origins. And then the other thing with the Origins too, let's see. All right, so the feet has a typical style feet. Is in the claws. So he has a newer, yeah, call it the Clawful Claw, Buzz-Off Claw. Very similar to the Classics. It's open a little more, but this one not only spins, it has a hinge joint that goes in or out, or if you spin it up and down. That would have been a lot better with the Classics. At the time, they probably weren't thinking that. They just wanted to have it spin in pre-open position, which it does what it has to do. Again, you can still hold weapons upright. But yeah, it's a lot better with that. That simple improvement just made it much better in the Origins. Anyways, quick look at those together, and yeah, they're both cool-looking characters for either the Origins line or the Classics. And now here's a quick look at that comparison between the Classics Buzz-Off and the Masterverse New Eternia Buzz-Off. This was another great design that came out for the Masterverse. I mean, really stands out. A lot of differences. You know, obviously, you got the newer style Masterverse legs. Still has a similar type bone ridges. You know, the main boots with the feet. Very similar to the Classics. Again, a little bit of redesign for what the Masterverse is doing. Masterverse has pinless joints, better articulation. Yeah, kind of a different loincloth and outer guards on both sides, where this one's just simple, going back to most of the figures. Even the design of the claws are different with this one, so they can spin. If you're not familiar, the hinge joints go sort of in and out. No, they don't, excuse me. They spin, and the claws can open up. That's what it was. It's been a while since I opened up this, reviewed this figure. So that's different. Yeah, has different wrist bracers. Okay, and then the, the old infamous Masterverse arms. Let's take a look at that, what they did. All right, so again, it has a scaling, very similar scaling, working its way down to the arm like the Classics. But obviously different muscle aesthetics. You know, it works. It looks good on this Buzz-Off side deck cut. I bring it up a lot, but I do like no pins in this to where the Classics have pins. But, yeah, I like these muscle aesthetics better. I can forgive the pins at this point. Just spinning them around. So here's the design of the wings compared to the Classics. So more narrow. Get him out of the way, he's falling. They open up, and I think they had two separate pieces. Yeah, so these little pieces separated, which is neat. And they were like independent wings on hinges. These didn't go out. These didn't go out. They just moved, but went out all around kind of thing. So different. I think these stand out more, just bigger for making a figure fly. But again, it does what it has to do. And then, of course, you can see the difference in the heads. Yeah, the arm of the body. He had, some other type of armor with this jewel in between. The axe, a new style axe. Yeah, which is cool. I like them both. But yeah, I always like the vintage style one better. And this one's interesting too with the... So when you take off the hood design, let's take a look at the head. All right, let's do that real quick for comparisons. Pop this back off. How's that? All right, there we go. All right, so there's a comparison between the two different heads. Which, yeah, they're both, I like them both in their own way. Again, I like this one better. Just because it's just nostalgia for me in the way I'm trained. But this does its own thing. Creepy looking mouth, the eyes. Looks more cybernetic or something. I don't know. Just something, even the way the hood's designed. I'm not saying he is, but I don't know. Anyway, this has more of a human-like insect appearance, where this is just strictly... Oh, yeah, maybe it's just more of an insect. I don't know, for the 2000X, or for that, for this type of Masterverse series. That's the backs. The heads, all right, a little different. Side that, it's the comparison between those two. Okay, and then for the last thing, just for a little bonus, I just want to use these seeing spy head glasses on each figure. Now, these classic reviews are not about part swap, and I really try to avoid that, because honestly it takes the fun out of it. I mean, I do so much of that on my Masterverse and Origins videos. A lot of people like that, some people don't. But these are easy enough to switch over. I want to see how these fit on each head. Alright, so this one barely fits on this figure. It stands up too much. How's that look? You can make it work. Alright, it's okay. But that one looks really cool on the Classics. If you had the Masterverse and Classics, look at that fit. Wow. So, once again, moving forward, on to Dragstor, right? Transforming Evil Warrior Vehicle. Yeah, I remember getting Dragstor as a kid. I think the original one had a pull ripcord, and you put him on his belly with the tire, and he would, you know, spin across, go across the floor. I don't think the Classics one has that, so that's kind of sad, because it would have been neat to have that action feature, but again, Classics, they were doing something different at the time. I think I got him really late in the line. I didn't even realize he was a Horde figure. How I found him, it was like in Toys R Us or something. I thought it was really odd. I didn't even know he's part of the line. Just one day, you know, we used to go to toy hunts, or our parents would take us to wherever you went. For me, it was Child's World. And most of the time, from previous figures, I would spin the back of the card art around, cross-sell, just like the Origins is doing. You'd see a figure, and you go, oh, cool, he's something, you know, that kind of thing. And you go a month or two later, and we'd have the newer wave of figures out. But I don't remember seeing Dragstor until I seen him in store. Yeah, I remember bringing him home, and he was just very odd to me. Just didn't seem to fit with the Horde at the time and that type of design going back to the vintage. But the Classics one really seems to fit well, just the way they redesign all the figures. But anyway, yeah, really cool looking. And here's a look at Dragstor's bio. You want to pause and read that. And there we have it. We have the Classics Dragstor out of package. And I got to say, another really impressive figure. You know, coming off the original redesign of the vintage one, but very different. The vintage one was just like one solid figure. The arms and stuff might have moved from what I remember. Now, right off the bat, the tire doesn't move. It is rubber, and it's sculpted, which is cool, but it doesn't go through the body. I thought maybe that would at least spin. Doesn't have the action feature with the pull cord, but they didn't give him something a little different in place. We'll get to that. That's interesting accessory. So yeah, no action feature. Tire doesn't spin. He just has the articulation, and you know, in place of a spinning tire and a hollow body. Yeah, a little kind of disappointed on that. I wish the tire would have really spun, but then again, maybe I just rather the articulation. I don't need that, you know. And the action feature would have been cool too, but alright. Maybe the Origins will give us that whenever they come out with a Dragstor. So, bringing them in for a closer look. Let's see. Look at that head. Wow, pretty cool. You have a gray lizard-like creature face with big orange reptile eyes. Notice he has a face mask. It's all part of the sculpt. I'm guessing that's some type of breathing apparatus because he goes so fast when he's racing down the road, with some filters to keep the dirt out. Or maybe these could be some type of pistons, and that's an air intake feeding the jetpack, is part of the jetpack in the back. I don't know. Let's call it a face mask. Has a crash dummy helmet, or just a racing car guy helmet, which makes sense for Dragstor's now part man and part racing car machine. If you read the bio, or cybernet, you know, it's more cybernetic character now. As far as the articulation with the hood, we could look left, we could look right, or all, excuse me, look to the left, all the way to the right, and go down, and okay, all the way back, and then the back of the hood, which also has vents, hits this backpack. Let's see. So moving down to the chest, and we'll call it the overall chassis that houses the main tire. He has all right, so the Horde bat symbol because he's part of the Horde. Then you have these, I guess there's some type of flex fuel lines, I'll call them. That's a neat addition. On the left and right side, there's like 3 each, and they're sculpted on. They're all part of the sculpt, I think. Painted silver, so that stands out. So it's all part of the armor, but painted as far as the sculpt. So yeah, interesting addition. And once again, going back to the tire, has some good threads. You know, it is rubber. That's pretty cool, but it's just a half a piece sculpted inside this housing. Yep, does not spin. No. Okay, so that's that. All right, let's see. So going back to the arms. All right, so we just have regular Classics He-Man arms with like a blue suit he's wearing, race suit, and you have these orange gloves, which, okay, stands out, pretty cool. Articulation with the arms, as far as the right arm, up, down. And then you can go forward. You can only go forward so far with the big bicep, and then you hit these fuel lines unless you move the arm out, and it could stand out. Go all the way back, spin around, and it'll get stuck, bend at the elbow. You have the bicep swivel. So if you want to bend up towards the face or chest, that's as far as you're going to do because of these lines. But once you clear them, you can kind of go down to the center tire like that if you had a weapon in hand or something. And then the gloves are all part of the scope, painted orange, right? And he has hands that can, these just spin, and they're like in a semi-open closed position for weapon gripping. Identical on both the left and right side. And like all the classics, yeah, they can only spin, but they can't go in and out. They don't have hinge joints like the modern Masterverse. Let's see, all right, so the left arm, all the same as far as the articulation, but we'll test it out because it's been sitting in a package for a while. Okay, well, let's see, how about the back of the head? Wants to check his head for an injury. All right, can reach back there, cool. So, all right, with the tire, yeah, a lot going on back here, but I want to see, does he have the ab? It looks like this is like an armor piece that goes all the way around the body. All right, so does it, wait a minute. Yeah, it looks like it comes off. All right, so we'll remove it in a second. It's going to be interesting. I guess he does have an ab cut, but not with all this armor chassis on. All right, let's see. Let's go down to where we at here. We're trying to focus in. All right, so go down here. He has one of those type of like hip protector type of short things on. Even has a vent underneath in the middle. And then going down to the legs, he has yeah, sort of classics inspired legs. He-Man a little bit, but obviously different. You have some little bolts or something here that are part of the sculpt. And then of course you have these main, yeah, these vents. I don't know if there's some type of like inducted propulsion vents, I'm guessing. You know, in other words, so when he's driving down the road with this main tire and the legs are up in the air, there's going to be air that comes in, helps his legs float, almost like hover. That's the way I imagine it, because trying to balance on a single tire, that's going to work. You'd have to have another pair of wheels or something on the feet. So that's what I imagine. Maybe that's what this is about. This is the air intake and filters for these inductive propulsion vents. That's what I'm going to call them. I'm making it up. Anyway, as far as the articulation with that now, so, wow, he can go all the way out with a split. Go to articulation with those. Kick all the way forward, go back, bend at the knee. Has these really big, yeah, sports boots on. Some type of heavy-duty boot. All right, and can they spin? Yep, they can spin. All right, and then you can see the lower part of the boot and the upper part. And that can go up and down, and can it rock? Yeah, a little bit. All right, this boot too. Go up and down. Okay, yeah, it has rockers in it, so it rocks side to side. All right, so let's spin him around. Take a look at talk about the back. Look at that. So he has, yeah, that's his propulsion jetpack, I'm going to call it. It's like a series of gears or something that can spin with shafts inside it that, right, create the power for the jetpack. He has like dual exhausts with manifolds coming off each side. Yeah, really cool detail. So, all right, so the whole body, when you spin the waist, that moves back and forth, and then all part is chassis and belt. You have this lower, it looks like a transmission gearbox. It reminds me of, right, oil pan or something, fuel pan, yeah, gearbox. It goes all the way back to here, okay? And then the blue suit has a wash, too. Is that a wash? Oh, you know what that is? It actually has black, yeah, black wash in it, like, the heat that's coming out of the exhaust is burning the back of the pants, I guess. Yeah, that makes sense because nothing else has it, and only the back as he's going down on the road. That's fun. That's pretty neat. Okay, cool. All right, so I'm just trying a lot to go over on his figure, right? So yeah, there's no pull. I think the vintage one had the pull cord went in the back, I think, and you pulled it and you put him on the ground. That's how he, I don't remember. That's how he went down the, as I said, across the floor. Leave in the comments you remember. I'll have to look it up on YouTube again. But, yeah, the Classics definitely isn't doing that. Okay, now, what are we doing now? So let's try to remove this armor. All right, so you're going to have two pops here. And the Classics are difficult. We haven't taken them off in a while. You see that? So I got to break these little tabs on both the left and right side. And so let me do that, and we'll try to remove the armor. All right, so once again, I brought Dragstor back in, and I did remove these... you have to snap them out. Now, I am using a blow dryer off camera for a lot of stuff. Heads and everything should for these. And then I had to use this little wooden piece to get in here and break these off the little tabs. Okay, so we got that off. Let's see. All right, so this whole mechanism. All right, there's a better look at everything. And I guess we got to take the head off. So let me see if I can do that without heat. Nope. Let me heat it up. All right, so take two. Obviously, I put some heat, removed the head. Still popped off. Very concerning. Got to be careful. There's the peg. And now we split all this. Let's take the armor off the body. So, all right, there's your main buck. Classic style He-Man buck. And now so we do have the ab crunch, excuse me. Oh, very oily. I think his oil pan's leaking oil. No, it's yeah, oily residue on this. I don't know what that's from. It's probably the rubber. Okay, but he does have the ab crunch. So we already talked about the arms. All right, so this is black to match the aesthetics. And we have that. And then here's the transmission piece or the gearbox. And I don't know if that... Yeah, that looks like a separate piece too, but I don't know. It's all part of this loin protector setup, you know. So we're not going to bother with that. All right, so taking a closer look at this backpack. We already talked about these internal gearboxes, jet thrusters, right? Exhausts. Closer look at that. So there's a side and there's our tire. It's just a little, it's not even a half. It's a quarter tire piece that's just part of sculpt. And inside this housing, and this is plugged into there. And yeah, this has a residue in it. Must be just a plastic sitting in the package, but that's pretty much it as far as backpack. So obviously I have the armor back on Dragstor's main body, but I just want to point out, if you ever consider removing the armor on some of these Classics figures, if you have one out of card, you want to take them out of card or mess around with them, this is really difficult. Not only take apart, put back together. I mean, I did a little damage here. I was a little stressed on that. This side wasn't bad. I had to heat it up, but that was a flaw with a lot of these figures with some of these armor pieces. Just rubber to rubber. It's not a good idea with some of these pegs. So, yeah, I had to, once I stretched this back over to get this plug in through this hole again, this second part, I had to heat this up and work it with this wooden rod until I was able to push this together. And even then, I have a gap. See, it's not fitting. This side's not right. It is holding. This side's much better. But so once again, moving forward with Dragstor's weapons and accessories. So he comes with two pretty cool accessories, or really weapons. So check this out. You have the, a Horde crossbow like a lot of the Horde members come with, but this is its own unique design specifically for Dragstor. Look at that. So, you have a, let's see, it's in the front where the blaster is. It's like a throttle plates with a turbo intake manifold up here. You have a little engine housing, looks like where the piston would be, or the piston housing up top. You have, manifold with dual exhaust once again. Pretty neat. All right, here's your handle for holding it. Got a little tail fin up in here. That's pretty cool. Look at that. Just all around for, crossbow for the Dragstor. And then take a look at his second weapon accessory. Check that out. He gets like a whip axe. So you have a double-headed axe on the main end. Really cool detail. That's on a whip, and it's pre-casted, so it's flexible, but it's not like something on a bendy wire. It's just how it's made. You have the handle, but if you really look, you have teeth on the outer part of the whip. So, like, I want to say it pays homage back to that ripcord that went on the vintage Dragstor. That's a pretty cool idea. Okay, so once again, bring him Dragstor back into frame. Let's set him up with this engine crossbow. I don't know, put it in the left hand. And yeah, these hands are really, sculpting is really tight to put accessories in. And I want to see if I can, okay, there we go. So with that crossbow in hand, let me see if you can hold it. Look up. I'm going to bend the legs up and put him on that wheel. The whole point is, does he balance, even though, it doesn't have the action feature and can't roll. Let's see. So he would kind of look like that. Yeah, but he's not going to do much. So even if you put him on a tire, how about the legs and hand down, which doesn't make sense because he can't roll. Again, he should have wheels back here. These are like the vents, inducted vents. That's the way I imagine it. But yeah, there's really no way to position him if you want to set him up in your collection like that. Make him look like he's racing, like a dragster. Hence his name. Even the head's not, you can't even see with the head up. in that position. I'm surprised because it hits it back at his jetpack. I don't remember. I think the main figure too, the head was down. I guess he just has sensors or something. But yeah, he rolls all over. Can't position him at all. You know, standing on the wheel. And then, of course, once again, I stood Dragstor back up with the crossbow engine weapon in hand, which makes more sense now with this figure. Just a quick look at that setup. And that looks awesome, the way he holds it, looking forward. It's overall aesthetics, how I have him stanced or positioned. And then, of course, with the same setup, I just put that axe whip in hand, or hence that ripcord, what that weapon's paying homage to. So that's pretty cool, and yeah, it kind of spins all around. But you can, yeah, position it behind his head, all different positions. Like he's ready to strike, just because of the way it's curved. Works out pretty well for the overall design. And then I'm wondering if, does this crossbow, let me see something. I wonder if this one on the back, something with a hole too I noticed on his jetpack. Does this go on the back? Because it looks like this could be another, I think it does. I think it's meant to do that as well. So you can turn this into a, so when he's on the wheel, which again, it's figure doesn't really balance well, you have the jetpack, he's flying down a road, and I guess you wouldn't hold that. That's his main combination of his jetpack and engine, but that's the main blaster weapon as he's traveling like that, and then he can have the whip in hand. So once again, let me lay him down, stop the camera a little bit, just take a look at how I can set him up. This isn't practical. All right, so he would be like that with the hand up whip, this thing on the back. He's going on the wheel like this, right? If he was able to bounce, let me put the other arm up. So he would look like that, you know, if the action feature, the overall, his ability was able to work and the head can't go up. What about if you position the body up? Legs up in the air like that would make sense, right? As I said, arms. Yeah, he can't even look forward. So that bothers me. The head can't go back, can't look forward. Can't see where he's going. Silly stuff. Again, maybe he has a camera or sensor something. He's looking down, but yeah, aside that, that's the best I can really set him up with the weapons and the overall idea of this tire, even though it can't spin, doesn't have the action feature. Alright, so that about does it. That's my overall review and unboxing and talk of the opening up my classics part 3 with Buzz-Off and Dragstor. Two awesome figures. Again, just so exciting to open up these figures after all these years and play around with them. Buzz-Off is just came out fantastic. Couldn't ask for better with the wings, the helmet, the articulation for at the time, just everything. 2000X head's really cool too if you have it. It's a pain in the neck to put on, so you got to be careful with that. And they gave him this axe, 2000X inspired axe, which works good in the claws. You know, you just got to manipulate them certain positions depending how you want to set them up in your diorama. And Dragstor too is really cool. I like the look of them because of the articulation design over the vintage one, but you know, the vintage one was a little more fun because he had the action feature. And I didn't respect that with the classics because most of the classics are known not to have action features, quote unquote. Some do, but not the way the vintage ones figures did. I do like the articulation, and it's neat that this arm can come off, but yeah, kind of mixed. I would at least like this wheel to be able to spin, have the body hollow. I didn't really need the articulation, this part, you know, in the waist, as long as I had it in the legs and the arms and the head. Would have been cool if the head can look up more. It just doesn't, it's just weird to me. And he can't really balance on this tire either when you stand him up without putting the hands and legs to the ground. That looks silly because how can he, scoot across the, you know, be a dragster down the road. But I guess that's what they expect the classics. I love this crossbow. And it's interesting to go on the back of this piece. I think that's what's meant to do. Now you look at it. And that they made this axe whip. Again, paying homage back to that ripcord that the vintage had. That's a good idea. Really fun. A dangerous looking weapon too. So he's traveling down the road. You can just catch and whack you with the axe. You know, this way it's attached. And I like how they had the teeth on here too. Aside that, two interesting figures. And yeah, it's cool taking them out of package. So as always, I appreciate everybody watching. Until next time, take care.